The Dark Knight returns.
At this point, the old grizzled comic book hero is almost as much of a cliche as, what if Superman was evil? You know, I can't wait for them to come up with, what if Superman was good? But in 2007, this wasn't the case. At least not for me. Let's set the scene. It's February 3rd, 2007 in St. Louis, Missouri. There's a snowstorm outside on a Saturday morning. I'm watching the Kids WB block and Legion of Superheroes just ended. Little did I know that the next half hour was going to be rad. Artifacts, the 7th episode of the 4th season of the 2004 Batman series, is my favorite episode of the series, and possibly of all Batman media outside of the comics. I can't confirm or deny that claim because there's just so much good stuff out there that I may be forgetting. The 2004 Batman series was always weird. It's hard to follow up on not just one of the greatest Batman series of all time, but arguably one of the best animated series of all time. I'm talking about BTAS, by the way. My younger brain couldn't stand the show at first since I was so married to the style and tone of the 1992 series, but I eventually came around and accepted all the new changes. Season 4 is easily my favorite of the seasons. I think this is because I'm such a big Robin fan, and we finally got to see my boy on the show. I might come around and cover all of Season 4 eventually, but I wanted to gauge interest by just covering one episode to start. Okay, here we go. Here's a brief summary. In the year 3027, two Gotham City police officers named Moira and Gray explore a deep cave, suspecting it to be the long-lost Batcave. One of Gotham PD's scientists attempts to hack into the Batcomputer, but it says that the computer's technology is so archaic it will be very difficult to crack. Moira, a fan of Batman, discovers the Batmobile, but this isn't the Batmobile we know from the previous episodes. This Batmobile is more like a Bat tank. The story then flashes back to 2027, where Batman, a much older one than we've seen in the series, drives the Bat tank. A voice in his ear, who is later revealed to be an older Barbara Gordon acting as Oracle, directs him to the Gotham airport where he confronts Mr. Freeze, now known as Freeze 2.0. Batman has created a neutralizer for Freeze's cryogenic biology and is ready to end the fight once and for all. Just one problem: the neutralizer can't pierce Freeze's suit. As Batman and Freeze fight, Oracle informs him that all planes into Gotham, except one, have been rerouted due to freezing conditions. Batman rushes to assist the pilot, but struggles against Freeze 2.0. Oracle takes remote control of the Batmobile to assist in taking down Freeze, but that only buys them some time before Freeze and Bats are back at it. Returning to 3027, scientists bring light into the Batcave and discuss the origins of Batman's suits, speculating that Thomas Wayne and his wife Martha, and their son Bruce, were the secret identities behind Batman, Batwoman, and the Red Robin. We get to see the Batsuit and the Robin suit still perfectly preserved. They also make note of how much titanium is in the cave and how odd that is for the time period. Back in 2027, Nightwing joins Batman in the battle against Freeze. He swoops in and gets the pilot to safety. Together, Batman and Nightwing try to prevent Freeze's plan to use a diamond in his cryocannon to freeze the entire city. However, they arrive too late, and the buildings begin to freeze. Freeze shoots Nightwing with his freeze arm. Batman struggles but is unable to save his partner. Freeze then approaches Batman with a charged freeze arm. You could say it's a freeze gun, but he shoots it from his arm. Just wanted to make that note. Jumping back to the future, Gray and Moira focus on finding anything in the Batcave that will be able to stop Freeze's cryocannon. It is revealed that in 2037, Freeze 2.0 succeeded, causing the city to be engulfed in snow. In the battle with Freeze, Batman is frozen solid, but he remotely orders the Batwing to fire on his position, freeing him and Nightwing from the ice. Batman defeats Freeze 2.0 by using the diamond to shatter his protective glass and injecting him with antifreeze. The Batwing crashes into Freeze's location, but Freeze is missing. Freeze, freezes himself and stays in hibernation for 1,000 years so he doesn't have to deal with Batman ever again. Freeze wakes up in 2037 and begins a new ice age. While continuing to look for a way to stop Freeze, Gray punches a wall out of frustration and discovers binary code left by Batman on the walls of the Batcave. The scientists uncover a video message from Batman containing vital information to take down Mr. Freeze. Meanwhile, Freeze 2.0 returns to terrorize the city, but Batman appears. Freeze screams,
But I waited 1,000 years. You can't still be here!
The Dark Knight defeats Freeze once again. Other Batman, revealed to be scientists in disguise, join him and express their gratitude for Batman's unwavering dedication to Gotham. The Batcave is transformed into a vigilante headquarters with advanced technology and a statue dedicated to the original Batman. This episode came out of left field for this series. Each episode was pretty standard Batman fare. Standard conflict and standard resolution. Artifacts being set in the future really upped the stakes. Was this going to be Batman's end? My adult brain knows that they probably wouldn't pull that on a Saturday morning cartoon, but 12-year-old me was glued to the screen. I also love the several incorrect guesses Moira makes throughout the episode as well. It really builds up the Batman's legend status to the point of simple details being misunderstood due to the passage of time. That was a long sentence. I need to work on that. I also really like that we were introduced to things in 3027, and in the next scene we see them in use in 2027. It's a nice touch. I think I had the perfect experience when watching this episode for the first time, with it snowing outside my windows while I watched. The version of Dick Grayson in the show is a kid, and I don't think I'm going to offend anyone by saying he's kind of a brat, which is another way the show differs itself from BTAS. So to see him as a mature adult really catches you off guard. Also, I just love seeing Nightwing in any form. God, he's so cool. Batman the Animated Series ended when I was 2 years old, so I never got to see him in new episodes. This rocked, and it's a shame that he only appears one more time in a cameo with his 80s suit. I also want to address the Frank Miller-sized elephant in the room. Yes, this borrows a lot from The Dark Knight Returns. From the tank, to the batsuit, to the overall idea of a tired and old Batman. What I like about Artifacts is that it borrows a little bit, but it goes in an entirely different direction while using the core elements. That being said, I would have loved to see Batman on a horse charging at Mr. Freeze. This show has a lot of videos saying it is underappreciated, and I truly agree with that and wanted to contribute to the conversation. Before I go, I want to throw in some fun facts about this episode. Clancy Brown once again gives a fantastic performance as Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze's spider legs originated in BTAS. Moira refers to the Robin costume as Red Robin, which is a fun reference to the Red Robin of the comics. Us Tim Drake fans stay losing. As stated before, the Batmobile draws a lot from The Dark Knight Returns, so I'm going to put them side by side. And Jerry O'Connell voices Nightwing in this episode. Also, when I watched this in 2007, 2027 felt so far away. I hate the passage of time. Why?
Maybe you didn't get the memo, Oracle, but I've been going by Nightwing for, about a decade or so.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why I can't remember that. Maybe I should try saying it 10 times in a row. Nightwing, 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 Nightwing.